What's up, everybody? Cavalier fan 1995 with
TANKZILLA 67.
Hey, and welcome to this video. And you know, we haven't been on the video for a while, Tank, because we've been busy. And of course, the football field that we've been talking about in our last video response, we have been going to the stadium, and little by little, it's getting there.
Yeah, I talked to Murphy. He said that next week the company moves in and starts putting up the bleachers, press box, and getting things arranged.
And also, we've been the biggest thing was the field itself, and we've been watching it. Now, due to circumstances beyond our control, we were not able to get any video or any photo of it because we want to be respectful to the people working there. And the other thing is that the stadium has been shut off to the public, so these guys are trying hard to get where they need to get, and me and Tank have been very respectful when it comes to when people are working, especially on this football field, because we want to see them do it right. But not only that, but when it gets finished, it's going to be one of the nicest stadiums in South Central Ohio. And the other thing we've been talking about is doing some shirts.
Yeah, we got a few ideas for some shirts. I think what we're going to do is we're going to make up like 3 or 4 different kinds and probably post them on here. And you know, if you guys want to get a hold of us, you know, you got our addresses.
Exactly, and we got mine is cavalierfan1995@gmail.com, and TANKZILLA's here is TANKZILLA67@yahoo.com. So remember, his is Yahoo, mine is Gmail. So again, I will put a little link down here to let you guys know that we are the emails, or I'll just put it down in the when I get the video finished, I'll just put it down in the info below the video that you're watching. So again, a lot has gone on, especially with this field. We have talked about how they were going to do the field, and I got to go I'd say about 3 weeks ago. They have finished putting the drainage in underneath, and hopefully, and you know, we've had some rain during June. During the June month, we had a lot of rain. It hasn't stopped anything because they just find a way to just keep going.
Yeah, plus with the heat wave we've been having, is haven't been able them to dry out. So they're pretty much getting the final part of the field laid down. And like I said, next week they move out, the company comes in, puts up the press box and the bleachers. And
of course, when that gets, we're hoping when these bleachers come up, we will be able to give you guys hopefully a look at the stadium once these bleachers get put up, once they get the press box up, which we know is going to be pretty much all of August. So the way this is looking right now, it's looking like this could be finished by, I would say, if I was to give one prediction, it would be probably at the end of August. Hopefully by September, that they will be, I think, would be the time when they start putting the turf in.
Yeah, well, you know, they got it set where they can put the turf in now, and then put up the bleachers in the press box. So I haven't seen it yet. I plan to go down on Monday because hopefully the weather will be a lot cooler, because it's been too hot for me to go out.
And it's actually been raining, so it actually had a big rainfall. You came in and you were like, all of a sudden the heavens opened and it started to rain, you know. And I was sitting, I mean, I was surprised that he came over. I was like, I wasn't expecting anybody over today, and he said, I'm here, dude. So I was like, all right, cool, let's shoot a video. And we've been doing the t-shirt thing. He's been showing me t-shirts for like a week now. And he's like, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? You know, and his is pretty cool. I like where he's going. A little while ago, I was doing my own, and we don't want to spoil anything because we want to just keep them a secret for right now. But again, if you out there have any T-shirts you want us to do, again, TANKZILLA67 at yahoo.com, right? CavalierFan1995 at gmail.com. So any of you guys out there that want T-shirts done, you're looking at the two dudes that can do it. So have you quoted prices yet?
Yeah, well, you know, T-shirts have been going $25 to $30.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nominal fee for doing them. You know, we can work things out. Just, you know, send me an email, send him an email, send me an email. We'll send you the designs that I got in mind, and we can go from there. Or if you got some ideas of what you would like to see, I can make it. I got the website that I can work on, make it up, send it out, so you don't have to worry about doing it yourself. I can do it. I got plenty of time on my hands, so hey.
And of course, he's pretty good at this stuff, and I can get a little artistic myself. But when it comes to doing shirts and stuff, this is the guy right here. This is the guy that can do it. So, you know, been trying to figure out what we was going to put on this video. You know, the one thing I wanted to do when we were talking about the stadium and all that, and then we talked about the T-shirts. I thought this would be a great time to talk about a Cavalier memory of football, since football season is coming up. I'm going to start with you because this is the guy. You know, the thing about me and him is that I graduated in '95. This man graduated in '85. The thing about this is we're 10 years apart from each other, but so many great memories from my years in football, outside of football, you with football, outside of football. So one memory that stands out while we're talking.
Well, there's so many of them. I mean, there's 1983's Whitehall. We were there, and Whitehall was on the verge of winning the OCC.
The Ohio Capital Conference, for anybody that doesn't know that.
And they made an announcement at halftime that we were welcome to stay and celebrate them winning the OCC after the game. And everybody booed, and the Coach Trent, locker room, heard all about it, just told all the players. They came out, and we scored 2 touchdowns and a field goal to tie it up. And there was no overtime at that time.
Right.
There was no overtime. So it went down to the wire, and Doug Bolin tried to kick a field goal. It missed, and time ran out, and the game was a tie. Now, in the same instance, Pickerington, on their side of the street, were winning their game. If Pickerington won and Whitehall lost, Pickerington won the OCC.
They won it outright.
And if Whitehall won and Pickerington lost, Whitehall won. Well, Whitehall lost because of the tie.
Right.
Ties didn't matter back then. Whitehall got knocked out of the OCC because Pickerington had more wins.
Yep.
And they had less losses. It was all set, which made Whitehall very upset. And we barely made it out of the parking lot because everybody was coming after us. We were at a church bus. They were coming after the church bus. But it was crazy.
Oh man. You know, another great memory that comes to mind, and I got to go, or not, I didn't get to go to this one. I started going to these games around, I'd say, 96, 97, which was a couple of years after I graduated, and we had a bus. We had a really nice coach bus, and of course, you got to go to the Reynoldsburg game, and you know what I'm talking about. And what happened was that Chillicothe was, the Cavaliers were 8-1 that night. Now they had to go to Reynoldsburg, which is in Columbus. So what ended up happening is the Cavaliers were down. I believe it was what, 21-7.
Yeah.
21-7 at the half. We had this really cool quarterback on our team. Now I can't remember his name. Adam Porter. Thank you. This pal.
Chillicothe's version of Steve Young.
Yes. and because you're a 49ers fan. But true. But this is true. So what ended up happening is, and I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall in that locker room at halftime. From what I've heard from many friends and former football players, Adam Porter cussed his team out. Now, let me give you an idea of what Adam Porter's height was at this time. He was what, 5'9", 5'10",
Yeah.
little guy, and here he is chewing out the locker room at halftime. You're down 21-7. You're 8-1. Reynoldsburg, I believe, was middle of the road that year, and you're 8-1. You're on the cusp of making the playoffs. Obviously, you got to have some help along the way to help you get some points, and because we go by computer points. So he comes out the second half, and he scored 2 touchdowns. The rumor was that he said, "I'm getting the ball. No one's touching it besides me." He grabbed the ball, ran it twice, scored 2 touchdowns in the third quarter, and tied the game at 21 before he even gave the ball to anybody else. Now, you were there, so what happened after that?
I was there. It was the craziest thing because, you turn around. I was sitting in the stands and I lost my hat. My hat fell off and went down all the way down the stands, so I went and get my hat. I come back up and there's a scuffle going on. It seems the guy who was doing the line, the 2 line things,
Oh, the first down markers.
The first down markers. The guy who was doing that was a Reynoldsburg fan. He attacked our coach.
Oh!
He actually attacked the coach. So there's a scuffle going on, and I'm looking up and I'm going, what the heck happened? The next thing I know, it's another touchdown, Adam Porter.
Oh, man. And again, Reynoldsburg was very middle of the road that season, and they've had some good seasons, of course, and they've beaten the crap out of us, believe me. But I wasn't there. I was listening to the game on the radio, and but it was when we won the game, and I believe it was 35-21 the final. It was the post game, which is the most exciting part of this story. The story of what happened afterwards. Go ahead.
Well, if you mean the trifecta.
Yeah. Yes.
Reynoldsburg was announcing that they're 50-50. And then they had this car giveaway.
Yeah.
They were giving away this car. So they announced the 50-50 in the fourth quarter. Well, the only person to stand up and yell was on our side. Cavalier. And then they announced the car. They were all happy about that. They announced the car.
Now the thing about this car is they've been doing this all season. Okay, it was given to him by a local Columbus dealership in Reynoldsburg, and they have been. This was like one of the biggest that they've ever done. And I don't remember what the car was, but go ahead.
It was homecoming. It was the final time that they were going to put the car on raffle.
All right.
So they called out the ticket number. And when you know it, who stands up? The Chillicothe Cavalier fan. So in the end, we took the car, we took the money, and we took the game. Which, say, folks, Reynoldsburg people weren't too happy about it.
Oh, no, they were not. He was telling me about this like the next day. Man, you should have went, and we were 8-1 going into that game, and I had my doubts. I had my doubts. I said, you know what? You go. You represent. I just didn't want to go, and because I thought we're going to go, because of course we've known our battles with Reynoldsburg somehow, some way. That they could not have the best team in the league, yet they will find a way to win. So I didn't go. Listened to it on the radio. I was hanging out with some friends, and then no more than 10:30 that night you called, and it was like 10:30, 11. It's like 60 miles, Chillicothe, and then you go to Columbus. It's like 60 miles just straight up, 23. And he comes around home about 11. And he calls me and he says, you should have went. Bro, you should have went. And, you know, there you go.
But here, one more recent, here a while back when we were still in the OCC, we were playing Old Tansy Liberty. We were behind. VOL.1 was playing during that time. And we were behind. We were behind pretty good. And this dude here decides he's going to leave. I didn't leave. I stayed. Sat up in the stands and I stayed. And what happened?
This was a blowout. I'm sorry, but this was a blowout, and I'm sitting there going, you know what? I can. You know, we had a big crowd that year or that game, and I said, you know what? I'm going to beat the rush and head home, and I'll listen to the rest on the radio. And so, I had a bike at that time. I unlocked my bike, left, and this was third quarter. So by the end of the third, it was like middle of third quarter, end of third quarter, you can come back in for free. Because by that time the game was, but so there was a junior high school close to the stadium, and I get around the corner. I go around the corner, and I hear Cavalier scored a touchdown. I'm like, oh. Like, okay, cool. And I stopped. I said, you know what, I'm going to go back. Just to see what happens. You know, they lose, well, at least they tried. At least they tried. They made the comeback, and, you know. So I start coming back. And they onside kicked it. We got it back. I'm like, whoa. Onside kicked it, got it back. Now, it was like, what, 3 plays later? Boom, touchdown. Now you're down 3 touchdowns, and I'm going, uh-oh. So, go ahead, man.
I'm just sitting there, just watching, cheering on, you know, me and Sean Masson, and here it comes. I'm like, oh, okay, you come back. All right, I thought you were going home.
And, you know, it's starting to make that turn, and you understand that the stadium, we have a track. So I wasn't on the track, but I actually was coming. There was a fence line that goes around the track, and then it's like around towards the homestand, which is on the west side of the stadium. So anyway, they're all looking at me going, "Look who's coming back!" And I come back around, and as soon as I'm like towards the end zone of the north side end zone, our quarterback scores again. And he had like 3 touchdowns in that game. He scores again, and I'm like, oh my God, they're going to win this game. It was no more than, by the time I got to the stands, there was the Old Tansy Liberty had the ball, they fumbled it. We got it. Now we're down 2 touchdowns. Score another touchdown. Onside kick it, get the ball back, and on a long pass, one of our players picks it up, catches it, and dives into the end zone, scores, and gets the go-ahead touchdown.
We tied it up.
Wow.
We had it where it was 1 point away. We could have tied it up. We could have gone for the win.
Right.
There was a miscue on the handoff for the kick. VOL.1 got it and dove into the end zone.
And that was unbelievable. And you're sitting there going, and we were all the way down on the south of the end, near the end zone on the south end, and we're all looking like this, like did he make it? Did he make it? And he did. And when we saw this, you know, the place went crazy, and we were like, oh my goodness, like they came. What was it? 4 touchdowns, 5? To come back from that, I mean, is like the only thing I can put that against was not as crazy as I say Cal Stanford, but there was another game. It was Miami against who was it? Maryland. Baltimore, you know, Maryland and Miami in college. Maryland was down 4 touchdowns in the third quarter, and they come back and score 4 touchdowns and get to go ahead in the fourth quarter and win the game. Now, you got to understand, Miami back in the 90s was like the best team in college football, okay? So with that, then we do the unthinkable, and that was like, I mean, it was a big win for us because that win right there, I think that was the year we went to the playoffs.
It was. One last memory to end this with.
Okay.
Can't remember the year, but it was a couple of years after we got splashed by Dublin Toyota.
Oh.
It was a rainy day. It rained all day long.
This was 03. I remember this. This was 03.
03.
Because this was...
Dublin came in third in the state, number one in the OCC.
Mm-hmm.
They were undefeated. We were the last game they played. The last game before the playoffs.
Right.
They come in on their high horse talking about how they're going to beat us.
Right.
But when I got there, the first thing I told him was, it's been raining. It's going to be fumbles.
You know, and of course we had grass at that time, and Dublin Toyota was used to turf,
right,
because all the teams they played had turf.
But what sealed it was the next thing I saw when I got up to where we buy tickets. Sitting there in the parking lot was a Cavalier bus line bus.
Yeah.
I said, it's over. We won this game. It's over.
And we were, you were still ushering at the time?
Yeah.
I was like at the last, I think it was like my last year of ushering. We had Coach Bill Dennis. This was his last game, and he was going to move back to Dayton, I believe. And we were outside the field house. There's like these double doors, and when we were sitting outside these double doors, and you were just kind of looking at the sky, and I'm sitting there going, man, this is going to suck. It's going to rain all day. But you had good karma that day, and you were like, we're going to win. We're going to win big, and we're going to, I mean, because you saw the rain, and you saw how bad the field was going to get, and you were like, this is going to be our rendition of the Mud Bowl. And it was a good thing I wore boots that day, because the mud that was on that field, I mean, think of a 100-yard chocolate layer cake. It looked like a big cake, like chocolate. I mean, it was just where the mud really was in the middle. Okay, so the mud in the middle. So basically, if you went if you went like towards the left and the right, those were like the safe bet, because you didn't want to put the ball in the mud, but you had no choice. So I think Dublin Toyota's strategy was keep us in the middle. It's where it's the muddiest, you know. And then Dennis said, well, we're going to do the same thing they're doing. But it was the score. It was the first score we got.
Yeah. My mind's kind of foggy on it. But I do remember that we won the game. We beat them, and they weren't too happy about it. And I'm going to leave you with this. While we didn't make it into the playoffs, week 10, double-sided got beat.
Yep.
We ruined them.
There you go, man. Anyway, if you guys want to send a comment, and also email us, cavalierfan1995@gmail.com. If you guys want to know more about the t-shirts, go to me or TANKZILLA's, TANKZILLA67@yahoo.com. I will have them down there in the information. Until then, for that big man right over there, TANKZILLA67, Cavalier Fan 1995. You guys have a good weekend, and we'll see you next time.